The 4 must-haves for a man to commit. If you have been having trouble getting commitment, if it's been 3 months or longer, maybe one of these 4 is missing for your man. And if you correct it, you can get everything you want. I have not talked too much about these 4 before. I have talked about the main 2 categories. We'll go over those 2, but then I will go with these, but then I will give you the other 4 that are really important, and they can easily go missing. You can forget about it. And this is to keep you on track. This channel is to keep you on track. My work is to keep you on track so that you get what you desire and deserve. So if you are new here and you don't know who I am, I'm Coach Paula Grooms, a dating and relationship coach for women, licensed social worker, and author of the book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. I help you find a Mr. Right, get an ex back, or grow an existing relationship or situationship into the relationship of your dreams so you create the commitment and level up to it. And that is what you deserve. So, hi, everyone. Hi, those on live here on YouTube, where I get to see your comments. And this is a great place for you to ask me questions. And I'm glad to see a couple of people here on a Friday night, which, if you are alone, you are not dating, and you want to be, you may want to consider these 4 things, perhaps in an ex situation that might have been missing for him. And most importantly, know that a man will not be able to voice it in a way that I'm going to tell you about it here so that you truly get it. If one of these 4 are missing, he will not feel safe to commit. And when I say safe, if you know my work at all, and you have been here, you listen to the podcast, you have followed me here, or you work with me, I talk about the 2 categories that are just foundational for a man to commit. And the 4 that we're going to talk about here, which are not really categories, they're extra 4 must-haves. But the foundational categories of safety and happiness are just that. They are a foundation. So I'm going to go over those quickly, and then we will get into the 4 must-haves. The foundation, of safety and happiness is a man must feel safe that you are in the Madonna category of Freud's Madonna whore. If you don't know Freud's Madonna whore dichotomy, look it up. Understand that men with their reptilian brain immediately categorize a woman, even by seeing in a picture, ding, ding, ding. If you're online dating, you want your photos to reflect that you are in the Madonna category, meaning Mother Mary, meaning you can be seen readily and identified readily as relationship material, wife, mother, girlfriend material, woman worthy of respect. So this is the first of 2 under the category of safety. Safe, that you are in the Madonna category. And this other safety is almost as huge, which is a man must be safe from a woman's emotional dysregulation that he doesn't understand, can't relate to, and cannot salve, fix, he cannot deal with. Men don't have the bandwidth to deal with the bandwidth of a woman's emotional, her whole span of emotions. Many men don't have it. So they have to be in a relationship for quite a while, have committed and bonded so that they can actually stay the course through the commitment they've made to stay in the relationship. So it's super foundational that in the beginning, many times, because you as a woman have a multitude of emotions that are readily available to you, and he doesn't, you many times have to think about reining it in his presence, and especially in text. Because men get tweaked in a way, and then when they do, they tend to isolate, dismiss, run, ghost, break up, the gamut. Okay? So that's category one. Two things under category one: safety, safe that you're in the Madonna category, safe from your emotional dysregulation. Second is happiness. And simply it is that if he is in a relationship with you, he makes you happy. This is foundational. These two things are absolutely, what I'm saying here, foundational. They're just the bare baseline foundational things that must be there. And then the four must-haves that we're going to talk about tonight are on top of it. These four must-haves go atop the two foundations. It's like building a little, we'll think of it as a little teepee that the two of you are going to be in. And then I will get to your questions. Okay? So let's go into the four, and I'm going to give you them in an order that most on YouTube would not recommend because they want to save the best to last. But I'm going to give it to you with an acronym so you remember. And this way you have them actually, I think, in an order that is true. So the acronym here is RASP. I have to give it to you in that way because I couldn't think of any other word. If you can, RASP. Okay? So what is the R, which is the number one thing that we know men must feel? There's an enormous study done. I think there were 20,000 participants, half male, half female. What do women want over and above everything else in a romantic relationship? What do men want over and above in a romantic relationship? Meaning from the opposite sex. So what do men want from women most? And what do women want from men most in a romantic relationship? Many would think it's love, to be in love. Well, neither sex reported that. The findings were over and above. Men need this above all, and it is the R in RASP, and it is respect. Over and above everything else, a man must have what he believes to be the woman's respect. So, different men, you will need to show it in whatever way that relates to that particular man. But you can think of it as somewhat of deference. How do you connote respect for someone? Well, it would be lack of criticism. Men are very attuned to a woman's tone, raising her voice, challenging him in a way that is more aggressive. How do we show people respect? Think about that one. How do you feel if you're in a relationship, your man needs to be shown respect? It's, to me, the number one must have. They're all important, these four, but the number one thing that this survey, that's a big survey shows, that's what men want above all. So this doesn't mean, I don't want you to construe it as he is above you in any way, that you are not equal, that you are defer to him in a way that is, I should say, making you feel less than, intimidated. No, we don't want any of those. It's just simply a respect. Mostly you can show it by anything you present to him tends to be, like we go to the foundational principle, lack of emotional dysregulation shows lack of respect. Think about that. And it's not really true, because women tend to be more emotional than men. And if you come from a culture that is more a fiery culture, we think of Latin cultures, Spanish, Italian, warm cultures of, more emotion showing. Well, dependent upon the man and his culture, it can be too much. So you have to gauge what he's able to handle, because he can deem it as lack of respect when your emotions are overwhelming to him. Okay? So, R, respect. Let's go to the A, number 2. This one, it's goes along with respect in a way, but it's a tad different, and you show it in a little bit of a different way. It is admiration. Admiration is different for each man. For example, if he's very heady, he's more intellectually oriented, maybe the admiration for him is about his brain, his intellect. If he's more physically based and he's brawny, maybe it's admiring his body. Whatever it is for him, his athletic prowess, his musical talent, give him admiration. And if you're with him, hopefully you do admire something. So figure out what it is and give it to him. Yes, we're getting comments, respect, understood. Hopefully you get the difference between respect is deference. And again, we want to be less emotional where respect is concerned. Things like this. I'm just going to give you something for respect that I just thought of. If you are, say, having a little tiff with your guy, and you're meeting your girlfriend, and for you, it's just very typical. You talk about, things with your girlfriend, and you come up to her and you sit down and say, yeah, we were just arguing about XYZ. Understand, for the man, that can show lack of respect. You can think of respect as having serious boundaries within the relationship, because men don't share the same type of emotional stuff that you may share with your girlfriend. And you can do so when you're in private, but not in front of him. That would show lack of respect. Okay? Admiration is, in that realm, someone else. You can say something like, well, Mark is X, Y, and Z, and I really admire him for that. Okay. You just showed admiration in front of others. Great. The yes, very simple as well, but a big one that's difficult for most women to understand the depth of need for a man to have this. It is much greater than our need for it, typically. I wondered, I'd love to see you put in the comments. And if you're seeing this video now, put in the comments, what do you think it is? What is the S that a man might need? It's 5 letters. A man would need more so typically than a woman in a relationship. I'm curious to know if you know what that S is. Any guesses here? I bet you know what it is, and when I say it, you'll be like, oh, yes, of course. Of course. It's a very hard thing sometimes for women to give, but this is a must-have for a man to feel safe with you. And it is, ready? Someone says here, safety. Well, no, safety is the 2 foundational categories, remember, safety and happiness. And safety we went over. 2 main headings under safety. Safe that you're in the Madonna category of Freud's Madonna whore dichotomy, and safe from your emotional dysregulation. Remember that. And the other foundational thing that he must have is knowing that he makes you happy. This is, again, the 4 must-haves that are underneath that all. And this one is space. He must have the space from you that he needs. This is not a fun one for most women to incorporate in what they need to give the man. Because if you are not regulated, if you have trouble with, say, abandonment, you have high anxiety, space is going to trigger you. And this has got to be worked on, because he must have space from you. Men need to regulate themselves, space from their partner, more so than women need. And I believe this is anthropological, somewhat sociological, definitely biological. Men, fundamentally, in our species, are the hunters. They go off. They are alone for hours and hours and hours and wait for that prey to come, kill it, bring it back to the cave for the clan. This has been bred in us for millennia. Women, we have evolved from being with other women, communicating with other women, and communing with other women while those men were off for the hunt. And our safety depended upon us being in groups. It is just more foundational for men to need space from you. And it's okay. And when you give him this, when I say these are the 4 must-haves, when you hit these marks, he thinks you are the best thing since sliced bread. You are gonna be the one. Because you give him all these things. You give him that respect. You give him that admiration. You give him that space, and the P goes along with it, which is the fourth thing. And that is peace. And you could say, well, what is that? It's kind of amorphous. What is peace? Well, when you give him those other four things, respect, admiration, and space, peace comes in not talking about the relationship, having the relationship. I talk about that here. It is your ability to regulate. It goes back to the foundational safety, emotionally regulate yourself so that you do not put that on him. That gives him peace. The space gives him peace. Each man will have a unique need for that in one way, shape, or form, some more so than others, dependent upon the man. But he must feel that sense of peace. You give him these four things with those foundational settings of safety and happiness, and you will be golden with him. How do you make sure you hit those marks when you are in love and you want a man? Because you may have triggers, like we just talked about. You may have very high anxiety. You may have abandonment issues. You may have jealousy issues. All of that comes from your subconscious programming that you had as a young baby, birth to age 7. And then you play it out with mostly a love interest. So it's what I work with mindfulness, manifestation, and the mechanics of men. The mechanics is just what we talked about here. But you have to have the self-concept, the work on your mindset in order to regulate. And then you need manifestation techniques so that you stay in a state of knowing that you can and will have this relationship and the man that you want. And then, of course, the mechanics here. So those 3 pillars I work under, which helps get you there. This channel is a great deal about that. And I give you these tips, this, relationship advice and step-by-step what you do. But getting these must-haves and building on them. And here, it's a lot about reminding. Remember, as an expert once said, we don't need more teaching, we need more reminding. So that's why I hope if you are just running across this, you will subscribe and quickly click on each video to get the reminder. Very simple. So let's go to now some Q&A. Give me your questions. And if you are over on Instagram, I hope you will consider coming over to YouTube. This is where I see all the comments most readily. And we have our conversations in Q&A. So let's see. Or even just your comments. Hi, Paula, help please. What to do when a man let's take a look. What to do when a man you've been seeing pulls or calls and texts. Seeing pulls on calls and text pulls. When he reaches out next to meet, what say and do? I like him. Maybe the flame has died for him. I don't know what you mean. A man you've been seeing pulls on calls and texts. I don't understand what that means. So give me that in the comments and I can help you. I just need to make sense of what that means. pulls on calls. It could be, and I'm, American English. So it could be, I could maybe gather, meaning he pulls back. He's not calling, he's not texting. Let's go with that. I'm thinking that's what you mean. When he reaches out next to meet, what do I say and do? I like him. Maybe the flame has died for him. Okay, I want you to think about why that might be, because that's really the most important thing for you. What might it have been of why he's pulling back? Did you show too much interest in the beginning? Because remember, a man falls in love through having to pursue your time, attention, and affection. So if he doesn't feel he has to pursue any of it, it's so why we don't call him, why we don't text him first, all of that. That could be. So what do you say and do? Depending, you might let the call or text go by the wayside. Make him wonder. Don't just answer it. You can always follow up later. For example, and I'm going to give you the example of that, is that if it's been steady and then he just drops off, you then the next time, should he come back around, don't immediately answer. Don't immediately answer that text when he just says hi or hey, gives you some lame excuse and then do you want to meet? Something like that. You want to really, really think about how long has it been? Did he just ghost you? And you need to respond in kind, not by what you say, by what you do. Remember, women relate via verbalization, men relate via action. So in that case, you would not answer the text or call. And you would see he would do it again. In other words, if he's really serious and not just, going through his numbers and thinking, oh yeah, her, I'll text her and see what happens. No. You see if he comes back around. Because if he's not coming back around, likely things aren't going to go well for you. So let that first one go by. Now, I'm not just saying he hasn't texted in 2 days. I'm saying real dismissal or real ghosting and then coming back. Just let those texts go. Let that call go. See if he's pursuant. Just the act of you not answering right away and not answering in a text could actually make him think, oh, and double text you. That's what you need and want. I hope that gives you some context. Let's see if you... Okay. So, good question. But I also want you to think, XOXO, that there's likely something that energetically you showed him that maybe made him pull back, and he may just not be ready for what you're ready for. Many times, this can happen as well. A man finds you really attractive, and he pursues pretty heavily in the beginning. But the minute he realizes you're not just going to get into something easy, mostly sexual, and that you're a really solid girl that's going to want a relationship and he's not ready, he'll just beg off. That can be really painful. But if he does that, you need to let it go, because no amount of you trying to make it happen will make it happen. That's an unfortunate thing. It is not the same for us as it is for him. This is a part that really sucks for women because we can't just go after what we want. It doesn't work in the relationship realm. When I say you can have what you want, yes, you can, but you cannot go after it with male energy. You can't pursue it. You have to receive it. That's where manifestation comes so much into play. Okay, so also how to encourage him to start going out places again for dates. I think there's a deeper stuff here that we would have to talk about, because these are, to me, two disparate things. Maybe the flame has died for him. He's not calling or texting as much and not going out to places for dates. Obviously, there's something going on. And for anyone, when I can't give you an answer here because I need a lot more context, think about being a guest on the podcast, joining the 80/20 Wonder Club, and being on a call here on a live where we actually talk and I get the information I need so I can help you. It's anonymous. All you need to do is join the 80/20 Wonder Club. That's in the description below. Or be a guest on the podcast. It's for free. And we get a full coaching session for you so that we can figure out what it is for you. So that relationship you have can go the distance. Okay, let's see. I feel like I did all of the 4, but still wasn't enough to fix. We just weren't meant to be, I guess. Well, again, you can't make a man ready who is not. Even when you give him those 4 things, a man must be ready, willing, and able to commit. As you know, I have in my book, the 5 criteria that he must, or his life, yes, his life must fit the 5 criteria. He must have his career and finances in a place where he feels he can take on the responsibility of a relationship. That's the puppy principle. You know it. It is like us loving all puppies. When we are ready financially, our home is in a state whereby we can adopt. We feel settled. We know we're not going to be traveling. We fall in love with a little puppy. We can adopt it. Those things must be in place for the man with women, because he can love all of us, big, small, short, tall, black, white, red, just like we love all puppies. We have to be ready according to criteria in order to take on the responsibility we feel pet ownership to be. Same thing with a man. We cannot change that. Women view commitment as a natural outgrowth of love. Men view commitment as a responsibility. If he doesn't have things in those categories, he's missing them. The career, the money, the being settled in a home space, the feeling like he's pet all manner of different puppies and had his fill, and he's ready to be responsible to and for you as the pretty puppy you are, and maybe the other puppies that are going to come from being with you. That's when he will be ready to commit. And love is way down on the totem pole. It has to be in the mix, but it is not the main thing like it is for you. Women commit from time and sex. A woman likes a man, enough time, sex, she's in love, she's committed. Men do not. Women view commitment as a natural outgrowth of love. Men view commitment as a responsibility. You can feel love for a puppy, but you are not in any place to adopt it. Unfortunate, but that's what it is. So you either, as the woman, you decide that the wait is okay for you in your life. And I would hope that if you are a woman who wants children and you are of an age to have them, you do not wait on any man, because studies are showing that more and more women are waiting, and they are waiting out their period to have children. And then they wanted more, but maybe only had one or none. Because the harsh statistic and reality is that by 30, your chance of having children, if you want them, is cut right away to 50%. Harsh reality. So you don't want to wait. But if your situation is different, you are older, you don't want children, it just depends. You can wait. But again, I hope you will really think in some ways strategically about it, because it may be more than his just not readiness. I can help you figure that out. That's what I do in the podcast. Talk to me for free, anonymously, there on Make Him Wonder, so that I can help you figure it out, make a plan, see what's going on objectively, so you can make an objective decision about what you do. Yes. My ex reacted quick this time of me not calling him. When I went quiet, he did too. It's been about a month. Our last conversation was warm with laughter. I'm prepared to go the distance with no contact. Yay! Yay, Jamira. I'm going to put that up. That's a really good one, because knowing the length of time in this situation, you probably just related to what I said about time. And this is not a question, because I know your situation here. This is not a question of him not loving you. Again, that's in the criteria when we're going to adopt a puppy, right? Or we love puppies. We fall in love with it. If we are not ready to adopt because of other criteria, we will not typically, if we have our head about us straight, we can't take on the financial responsibility. We don't have the environment for the little thing. It's not right for us in other ways. The love doesn't trump it for us. And it shouldn't. It shouldn't. Same thing for a man with a relationship. It's unfortunate, but a man will not commit out of love alone. Doesn't matter. He can love you to death, but he is not going to, quote unquote, adopt you, because he has to then be responsible to and for you in his eyes. It's not what you think. It's what he thinks and feels. This is the awfulness, in many ways, I'm giving it to you straight, about being female. Yeah, he can love you to death. If he's not ready, it will not happen. So, how do you decide whether you wait it out to get him more ready? If you want children and your time is coming to an end, you must think more strategically. I kind of feel like a 44, that door for a kid is possibly closed. At 44, that door for a child is possibly closed. I do want to get married, though. Okay. He's not ready to do that either. He's showing you that. You know he loves you. We've talked about that. So if you've decided, okay, I'm okay to not have a child, is he in any way, even at this point in your life, a good boyfriend? Think about that. Okay, you're foregoing having the children, perhaps, which, yes, at 44, it is an issue, but I have someone in my life who is 53, or she might be 54 now, and having another. She just had her first. She had her first child at 53. I'm not saying I recommend you doing that, but it's possible. Probable? No, but possible. And while you are still menstruating, if you decide enough that you want to have a child and you want to go for it, there are ways to do that, especially if you can afford to do it. Hopefully, with the demographic problems that we are having now, remember, demography is destiny, and we are not at replacement levels in any of the industrialized worlds. We are not. Any of the industrial countries, we are not at replacement level. This is a big problem. So more and more countries are helping with fertility. I'm thinking that that's going to come down the line. Certainly, I believe it was just put out that President Trump is considering putting that forward, and hopefully someone in Congress is going to do that, to pay for fertility treatments for women, because we are going way upside down. If you don't know about this, I just did a podcast on this. It's a very, very serious problem. It is the fertility crisis that is in the modern industrialized worlds. South Korea, Japan, China, Italy are leading the way and have such incredible deficits that it is now impossible to make up for. And certainly the United States is heading that way, but we have a little more immigration. But there is not enough in the other countries as well that we can make up for this with immigration. So it's very important. I am so behind. If you want to have a child and you have the means to do it, you really want this above all, I hope you will not forgo that in your life. So I don't know, but all I can tell you, Jameer, knowing your situation, is that he doesn't even feel ready to be a boyfriend because of the career and money problems. If that gets solved in his life, then yes, there's more of a chance. But remember, that's first and foremost, ladies. If he does not feel viable in terms of his finances and career, there's typically not a way to pull him out of that, no matter how much he loves you. XOXO, thank you. I was thinking to ignore his first text. Great. Jamera, that's very nice to put. Yeah. I don't know what you mean by which is awesome. I mean, I know it's not what you want to hear about him, but maybe it's about my friend who had a child very late, and more countries are going to be doing this because we need to do it, because we are so upside down economically on older people and having older people. Like, for example, Japan's median age is 48. Median age. They have been upside down in their demographics and fertility rate since 1974. So for all of those decades, they have not been replacing themselves. So there are thousands of communities in Japan that have no one in them. They are bulldozing over. And Japan loses 800,000 people every 2 years. And by 2050, I'm hoping I got this right, by 2050, Japan, who's one of the leaders on this train that we have of the fertility issue, and I'm going off track here, but it's really important for women to know if you are of childbearing age and you want a child or children, or if you are a mother of a girl who wants to have children. This is the biggest existential crisis we are facing, so much more than what's considered climate change or any of the other issues. Because if we do not have people young that are working and drive an economy, we have bigger problems than can even be imagined. Dystopia. Because we have everyone in their 70s, 80s, and above with no one to care, no one to make innovation and to drive the economy and to work in any kind of fashion. So it's very, very significant. So I think it's 2050 that, or oh no, maybe it's 2100. I think it might be 2100, that by 2100, China will have lost the equivalent of the entire nation of Australia to, I think it's two, I don't want to give the number because I'll get it wrong, but it's so frightening that it's really something to get behind. And me as a woman doing my very, very small part, I talk about the 10 closest women to me, not including me, who did not have a child by choice. Because make no mistake, if you are childless by choice, absolutely, because you should want to do it. But I'm all for women who want to do it, not waiting to do it, because if you wait to do it, that's the most pressing issue for women, is that people believed they would be able to have the children they want, but they wait and it doesn't happen. Because finding a partner later is harder. So I'm all for you, if you want a child, making it happen, if that's possible for you. Going to other people in your life, your own family. How can you help support me in this? It is something I really want to do in my life. So taking just, closer to home, because statistics are broad and it seems like, I'm not really seeing that. I see people having children. Yeah, but we need to look at the numbers. Math doesn't lie. So for example, the 10 women that are closest to me in my life. So out of 10 women, if it was just replacement level, meaning 2.1, there should be 21 children that come out of those 10 women, come from those 10 women. Well, now, not of an age to have a child anymore. Most of my friends are not. But I just told you about my friend who's 53, who had her first at 53. But I'm counting her in this whole group. And she's about to have another. And so I counted that child as well. So should be 21 children. There are only 6. Think about that. That's just my little world. I bet if you think of your world, you'll see it as well. When you take all of your female friends, how many there, quote unquote, should be to have a replacement level, because one of those friends has 3. You see? You think, oh, okay, one has 3. That doesn't make up for the other 8 that had none. You see? And you can never make up the math as it goes forward, because from those 6, say 3 of those are girls. Right now, it's just 2. Let's say 3 of those are girls. Well, those 3, if we are at replacement level, they should have 2, 4, 6.1 children, something like that, 6.2. But you see how exponentially you cannot make up for the lost numbers. Those, to make up for the 21 children that should have been had, but were only 6, these 6 would have to have 10 children. Not going to happen. We're in a very, very, very serious situation. So I'm all for women in my cohort are older. How can you support a woman who wants to have children? We need to come together on this. Very serious issue. My only question, he still follows me on Facebook. Do you think it matters at this point, or is there any action I should take? I'm okay not doing anything. I'm finding comfort in doing nothing. I'm so glad you're finding comfort in doing nothing. This is a change for you. That's fantastic. But it's still prevalent for you because you love him. And I understand that completely. I would hope that you could finally distance yourself in a much bigger way so that you can finally move on, or you decide that the relationship you had, which was not fulfilling, not going to have children, not really a boyfriend, you can always have that because he's there, he's calling you. You can have that. But if you want more, potentially, the thing that we have at our disposal is cutting the man off completely. And really trying, I mean really getting him out of your life completely. Yes, off of Facebook, out of your life, so that you can truly see about moving on. Because in 2 years' time or 3 years' time, when, yes, more the ship has sailed of you having a child, and if not, anyone has come in to the picture and you've done that with him, if that hasn't happened, if he comes back because the love is there and he's now ready, he has more of the career, he has more of the finances, maybe you can be together. But you have to make that choice. And kind of just going along and taking his calls here and there. I think we said we'd talk in like a month, and maybe that month is right now. It's not really doing anything. And I think you're seeing it's not really doing anything. So time to simply exit stage left. No bad feelings, no nothing. And really make that effort to date and find someone that can give you all you deserve. And I'm glad you're finding that comfort in doing nothing. I'm glad. She said, I agree. Yeah. You just deserve so much more. I'm gonna hop over to Instagram and see. Readiness is important, but what explains them meeting someone else and then marrying them within months? because this is a good question, and I would love to have that over here on YouTube. So I hope people who are here on Instagram will come over to YouTube so that I can more readily see your question and comment. That is a very typical thing because you see, if you gave off the energy of being all in and he was not for you, men can easily go to the next woman who gives him that feeling of he has to jump each hurdle and meet each bar how she sets it. He can convince himself of readiness and marry within months. This is an unfortunate truth. Mm-hmm. It can happen. But if that happened, then he was not your person, for sure. And I'm really sorry if that did. That is painful when you care about someone. But now the best thing you can do for yourself is reflect on what might I have done differently to maybe see the forest for the trees, to maybe understand what maybe 4 things, the must-haves, weren't there. Was my energy all in and didn't allow him to develop the feelings he needed to feel, which he falls in love through having to pursue your time, attention, and affection. Make no mistake about it. So maybe he didn't have to do that, so he didn't feel it. I don't know. I 100% see what you're saying. Women are not choosing to have children. Yes, it's an unfortunate thing. Again, childlessness by choice. I'm that. I support that in every way because I think there's nothing more important than motherhood for our society to make children happy and whole. It is something you want to feel very strongly about, and it's not to be entered into lightly. But when we see women who want to, we want to support them in it. It is something so important for you to look back on if it's something you want to do in your life, that you gave yourself the best chance to do it. So let us recap. If there are no more questions, let's just see. I hope I answered that, Jamira, about the Facebook. I would, I would remove it and just now go quietly, like, as I said, exit stage left. This would be tantamount, Jamira, to showing him, I'm not okay with this amorphous, just now you get to call me and get my good counsel and get my good friendship and maybe my shoulder and somebody to talk to and all of that. No, just don't do it anymore. Go into contact. You will see. It may ramp up. And then we got to get to work. Hi, Paula. How does the next woman set those bars so he does convince himself? Is it the pursuit? Good question. Well, that's part of it. Yes. It's setting it up from the get-go. Knowing what you want, standing in that value, and the energy of, I'll just see who you are. I'm going to look at you a little sideways. I'm not sure you're for real. You got to prove to me. But sweetly and in a flirty fashion, not chastising him, not berating him, not making it like, yeah, I'll just bet you are. Yeah, you're just another guy that's going to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? It's the attitude of flirtation in it. I'll just see what you're going to do. More flirty, you see? And set those bars so he does convince himself. Yes, as he starts falling, that's when you have that best shot. And men are most interested in you. And this is a tough one, ladies. He's the most interested and enticed prior to having sex with you. We are not as interested and enticed. We have that typically happen soon, like right when we first have sex with someone. We are all in. But once he does, that pursuit has dropped off just a hair for him. So you see how it's very disjointed and very different for the sexes. So what can we do as women? We allow him to fall in love first. How does he fall in love? Through the act of pursuing your time, attention, and affection. That's how a man falls in love. So we want that to happen prior to first having sex. And here's why. It's actually physiological. Women release oxytocin every time they have sex. Oxytocin is a bonding hormone, chemical. You want to think about it. So when we have sex, if we like the man, we release it absolutely anytime we have sex. So you can see that in 3 times or more, we're going to bond. It's the bonding chemical. Men don't release the equivalent of it, which I think is vasopressin or something like that. Dr. Tara Swart talks about this. Men do not release it in having sex unless they are in love first. And then they do. This is why it's so important for him to be in love first. The mere act of just waiting for the woman helps this enormously. Because he has to pursue more. He has to pursue more. And that's how he falls in love. So it sounds old-fashioned, but the biological stuff is just at play, and it worked for our predecessors because it was just the way of the culture. Now it's different, and we hurt ourselves a little bit. Thank you so much. I'm going to release him from my mom's Facebook as well. I want him 100% out. Yay. Yay. Knowing this situation, Jameer, I'm so happy for you because this has been a long, long journey. This means you are so close to getting something you want. Make that manifestation happen because you can do it. It's a really great thing to hear. It's been a long time. You deserve this. How do we know if the man is in love before sex? He's going to start giving you hints. He's going to be pursuing you a lot. Think about it. How does he show you? How does a man show that he's in love? He's pursuing your time, attention, and affection. He may even say it. You may even want to hear it prior. Depends on the man. But you have to have your antenna up. But again, the longer you wait, the more or the higher the chances of that. That's true. Men want to earn women's readiness or earn the woman regardless. Yes, they do. So now you have real fundamentals about what men need. Safety, happiness, safety, the 2 headings. You must feel safe that you are in the Madonna category of Freud's Madonna whore dichotomy. So you are safe to commit to. If you don't know it, I do a lot on that here. Look it up. Very important for you to present yourself in the Madonna category. safe from a woman's emotional dysregulation. You have to show, I'm calm, I'm confident, I'm regulated. You are safe with me, that I do not present a lot of drama emotionally. How do we do that? Very easily is not talk about the relationship. You know, I do a lot on that here. You need to have one, not talk about it. And this is hard for women. It's why, women work with me, because it's super important. So that's the safety category. Then the happiness. He must fundamentally know he makes you happy. Then this parlays into the 4 must-haves. How does he know that? You give him respect. You give him admiration. You give him space. He has peace with you. Those are the 4. All of that combined, make him know you are the one. If you need help with this, I hope you will allow me to help you. You can talk to me for free on the podcast, anonymously, and have a full coaching conversation. I hope you will do that. If you would prefer to talk to me privately, of course you can do that. The information is down below on how to get in touch with me to do that. If you want to be here on these lives talking to me, you can do that by becoming a member of the 80/20 Wonder Club. It's less than a latte a month, and you can be talking to me here and asking me questions, not in text where I can't get the context, but actually, you've probably seen women talking to me here, and that's anonymous. It's very easy to do, and I hope you will do that. In the meantime, I'm going to love and leave you so your man doesn't. And I appreciate you subscribing, sharing, commenting, and putting a like on this video. It helps me more than I can tell you. And I do need your help. You see on YouTube that your help is going to be very much appreciated. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks.